Good morning, everyone. Great to be with you today. I'm Simon Clark, the Key Account Manager here at MPowered Mortgages, and I'd really appreciate you taking the time to join us today's session. This webinar is designed specifically for brokers who have recently registered with us, so it's a chance to give you a proper introduction, highlight some of the ways that we're looking to support you, and show you how to get the most out of our platform and proposition from day one. On the agenda today, we'll look at who we are, and what we do, and what makes us different. We'll have a look at the pricing and products, a tour of our bespoke broker portal with a quick demo of the system, as there's quite a few technologies and processes going on in the background which I want to make sure you're aware of and really provide you with the knowledge of improving your chances of getting a same-day mortgage offer. We'll take a look at some of the free AI tools we have available for registered brokers, which will really help with those criteria queries, and we'll touch upon generating some mortgage tailored content for your brand. I'll give you a guide on some of the best criteria where you might look to use us, not just on rates. And finally, some details on extra support that is available to you. So, who are MPowered Mortgages? We're a fintech mortgage lender offering prime residential mortgage products. And what that really means in practice is that we're combining the traditional lending sensibilities with new tech like AI and machine learning to drastically improve the experience, especially around processing times. Our system allows you to key in an application in as little as 10 minutes. And once it's submitted, we're aiming to process that and issue a full mortgage offer within 24 hours, sometimes even quicker. As of right now, 97% of fully packaged submitted cases are offered on the same day. And later, I'll break down exactly what fully packaged looks like so you know exactly what to expect. And it's not just about speed. We've made a lot of updates recently, new criteria improvements, smarter tech on the website, and tools that allow you to get quicker answers, especially around criteria-based queries. I'll show you one of these tools live in a bit. It's called Ask Max, and it's a bit of a game changer. So what does this all mean for you and your clients? We currently have a range of prime residential products and purchases and remortgages. Every application benefits from a free valuation. That's one per application, and it applies right across the board, which really helps keep things simple and cost effective for clients. We'll complete an AVM on every single property, which is triggered as soon as the security address is keyed into the application. If we must do a physical survey, the first one is still free. Of course, we have all the other facilities you'd expect, including product transfers, further advances, and porting. And because we're an intermediary-only lender, your client relationship stays protected. If they want to make any changes further down the line, they'll come back to you as their broker, not directly to us. Now, one of the key things brokers has told us is that speed is brilliant, but it's only valuable if the products are competitive. And I'm pleased to say they are. Our best pricing is currently sitting on 3-year fixed products. We've seen a big uplift in this over the past few months. I think it's down to a couple of things. The swap curve is pretty flat right now. Clients are feeling pretty cautious. They don't necessarily want to be committing to a 5-year, but they want a bit more certainty than the 2. That makes the 3-year fixed the perfect sweet spot, and it happens to be where we dominate on the sourcing system. That said, our 2-year fixed are very competitive. At 80% LTV especially, we're frequently in line with or beating the other top 6 high street lenders. So if you're looking for high street pricing, faster turnaround time, and broader criteria, we're a strong option. Our product ranges start from 60% to 90% LTV, all with varying product fees from 0 to 999. We do keep pricing simple, so there is no tiered pricing for applicants with light adverse or anything else. We have enhanced prop fees on further advances, and we're able to respond very quickly to improvements in the market conditions. You frequently see MPowered leading the change. If you're placing a remortgage, there's even more support. Your clients can choose between a 250 cashback or a legal fee saver option. depending on what works best for them. As you will know, it's about giving brokers options to match different client preferences. Finally, I just want to mention that if a client asks who are MPowered or whether they're a name that they can trust, you can let them know that we're backed by some very familiar names in the financial world. Our investors and equity partners include Barclays, Citibank, and M&G Investments, which offer some really strong reassurance. So the next couple of points here are regarding the AI mortgage application and how you can maximize your chances of receiving a same-day mortgage offer. I'd like to bring up the broker portal here and show you the process. Now, all of you with us this morning are registered, so I won't go through the registration process, but it's highly likely that you've seen us on sourcing, and before you start an AIP, you might just want to check that we can lend enough to your customer. On our website, MPowered.co.uk, make sure in the top right-hand corner you're on Intermediaries page and click on the Calculator tab at the top. And this will bring up the Residential Affordability Calculator. Now, I'm not going to take you through this. I'm sure you've done many, but the thing I do want to point out here is that when it comes to monthly personal expenditure, if they have any loans that are going to be paid off before completion or consolidated as part of this mortgage, you can put a 0 in here. Only put loans in here that are going to be ongoing post-completion, which should help with the affordability. Also, if they've got any credit cards that they pay off every single month, again, you can put a 0 in here. But as you can see, it's very, very short. It will literally take you 2 minutes to complete. Now you know that we can lend your client the loan they want. You can also check that the customer's preferred solicitor is on our panel. This is easily done by clicking More at the top and then click on Find Your Solicitor. This will bring up the searchable panel. You can click Browse All, although I probably wouldn't do that as there's over 3,500 solicitors on there. So instead, you can type either the firm name, town, or postcode and click Search. This will filter the solicitors and leave you with the ones that match the search. For instance, I'll key the name Blacks, click the search, and easily found the solicitor on the panel. So now I think we're ready to click Start an AIP. So as long as you click, make sure you're on the Intermediaries page and you are logged in, you should be able to click Start AIP. Now, unlike most lenders, this will actually take you to our products page to select a product. So use the filters to find the product that you've seen on sourcing. So let's choose a remortgage fixed, 999 fee, 3-year, and the cashback. And you can see it's filtered the products and left us with the one that we want. We have a range of LTVs across the top. And when you're happy with the product, click More Information. I've already talked about some of these, including the 250 cashback, free valuation, the further advances, and the porting facilities. If you're logged in, it will say Apply Now. So let's click that, and it will take the product into the AIP for you to complete. First thing you see is the declaration. So these are just the minimum requirements we need your applicant to have to submit an application. As you can see here, things like applicant will be no more than 70 years old at the end of the term and that they're over 18 years old. So one click to confirm and then just declare that you've got permission. So let's start the AIP. Our loans are available from £50,000 up to 1.5 million. Terms are from 5 to 40 years. If there's any capital raising, we can select from as many purposes from this list as you need to. You can then provide a breakdown of each of those here. For now, I'm just going to click No for the purposes of demonstration. Onto our applicant's details, and you'll notice anytime I click onto another tab, it will actually save what we've keyed into the previous tab. So there is no need to click Save or worry about losing your progress. Now, for the purposes of the demonstration, because we'll be running a live credit search, I have got some test data to use from Experian, who's who we use for our credit reference agency. And just choosing nationality here, one of our top bits of criteria is around applicants with visas, which I'll go through the details in a bit. Lastly, add the applicant's current address Just type the postcode, click the search icon, and select the name and number of the house on the drop down. When did they move in, and what is the occupancy status? Well, this applicant's a homeowner with a mortgage. We can have up to 2 applicants on an application, so click applicant 2 if you need to do that. We'll leave it as 1 for the purposes of the demonstration. How many dependents do they have? Or if there are any occupiers in the property over 17 years old who are not dependents. Now, here is one of the triggers that I want to make sure that you guys are aware of. As soon as you completed these tabs and click on affordability, this is when we run that soft credit search. And if the system finds something that doesn't fit credit criteria or credit score, there will be a notification that pops up on the side here to tell you not to carry on with the AIP because the application will only be declined. The benefit for you here is that you haven't had to complete a whole AIP with credit commitments just to click a button to be told no. If the credit doesn't fit, we'll tell you within 2 minutes of starting an AIP. This will save you from the frustration that you get from using other lenders. So we're on affordability. We've just entered some basic details about their income. Now the system is very dynamic. It will only ask you questions that are relevant. So if bonus, commission, and overtime are relevant to your applicant, you can tell us by clicking yes and adding the details here. On the next tab, we'll select where the property is located. This will determine which ONS figures we use for affordability. If they have any buy-to-lets in the background, you can leave them off the affordability calculator if they are self-financing. That's either by 135 or 155% for either a lower or higher rate taxpayer, respectively. If there is any shortfall here, you will need to add that as a monthly commitment to the expenditure. We don't take the passive income for affordability. Now, another benefit of doing that credit search so early in the process is that when it comes to the credit commitments, we can actually pull those through and give you visibility on what we have found on Experian. There's no need for you to type all the commitments out. And on each one of these, all we really want you to do is from the drop down, if you can just confirm whether with post completion, it is ongoing, paid off with own funds, or consolidated as part of this mortgage. Really quick and easy. Now, if the applicant has taken out any credit cards or anything in the last 30 days, it may not show on Experian. So if you do know of any that aren't showing, please just use the manual add commitment button here and add them. Tick the box to confirm that this is a complete list of the customer's credit accounts. And lastly, there's an option here if they do have a student loan with a helpful signposting here. Last page of the AIP is asking about household expenditure. Now, we use ONS data in the background for most things, but we do ask you a couple of details here. So things like council tax, because on the AIP, there's no property in there, so we can't pull that down. Then school fees and childcare, maintenance payments, service and ground rent, and any other essential expenditure. This could be direct debits the customer just doesn't want to give up, or if there's a shortfall in that buy-to-let calculation. We've completed all the details, so we can now click Get AIP. I may just on the test system have to refresh the page just because it doesn't auto refresh like the live system does. So I'll just do this here. Hopefully it'll produce us. Here we go. We have an agreement in principle certificate, which you can download or view. Now, if your applicants aren't aware of who MPowered are and you want to give them some reassurance on those big financial institutions' names backing us, you can actually find those on page 2 of the AIP certificate. Now, we've got 2 options. We can either complete now or complete later. Let's complete it now. And as you can see, it's actually given us 3 more tabs to complete. Before we move on, I would like to point out that actually now we are actually completing the rest of the application. So if we have a look at applicant, it does not now have a green tick above it. Now, if we have a look at it at the bottom of the page, we are now asking for the contact details of the applicant. We didn't ask for these at AIP stage because we didn't need them, so it's less for you to fill out. But now we're completing the application, we do need them. And as you can see, we've now got a green tick again. And actually, just before we move on to finish this, I will just click on Product tab. Just below the product summary here, you can add the product fee to the loan above the LTV here. And before you submit, if you do want to choose a different product, you can self-serve by clicking the Change Product button here. Right, onto property. So this is a good time to explain how we get you to do a complete full mortgage application in less than 10 minutes. This is because we have lots of AIPs or links into other databases and systems which are pulling back data for MPowered. So you don't have to give the details to us. For instance, with regards to the property details, we have links into 4 different property databases providing us with data. So essentially, we're asking you a few details and we're trying to retrieve the rest. If there's any data missing from these databases, the system will automatically generate some questions for you to complete. As I said earlier, we do have free valuations on all applications, and we run the AVM as soon as you've completed those details in there. If we do need to conduct a physical valuation, please make sure the occupancy details here are correct, as this will stop any delay in the process. So there we go. On the right here, you can see under notifications, we have got a few questions. They're all about the property. So the databases may not have had these details for us to pull back. So the system is asking us to complete these. So if we look at these, we've got commercial property. No. Has it been occupied? Yes, over 24 months. Ever suffered from subsidence? Is it ex-local? Has it ever been listed? Is there a flying freehold? And are there any solar panels? As you can see, we've completed those questions there. We've got no more to complete. All seems to be happy. We can move on to the documents. Now, because we're trying to give you an offer as soon as we can, we do ask for documentation upfront on submission to secure the rate. There are some guidance here regarding supported file formats. The reason we don't accept screenshots is because part of what the AI is doing is fraud detection, and it doesn't work on screenshots. So we do ask for the standard file formats of either the JPEG, PNG, or PDF. It's all drag and drop, and if we click next, it will give us a list of the documents it thinks it requires to get the case to offer. Essentially, as you go through the tabs and enter the details, the system is trying to verify these details through varying processes. And if it can verify them, then it won't ask you for certain packaging documents. It's only requesting the applicant's latest month's payslip here, so it must have been able to verify things like applicant's ID, address, etc. Unfortunately, it couldn't verify the applicant's PAYE income on this one. So as we're only using basic pay, it's asking us for the latest payslip. So here we go. Just drag and drop the payslip from the file on your computer to anywhere on the case. And you can see that not only does it upload the document, but it will be checking for fraud, checking the name matches from document to applicant, the document is the correct document, and that the date requested date range matches. If not, the system will tell you so you don't end up uploading the wrong file. The name of the game here is packaging. If you can get the correct packaging for what is being requested, then you will massively improve your chances of receiving a same-day mortgage offer. As I mentioned earlier, 97% of fully packaged cases are offered the same day. And lastly is the submission tab. So here we are just asking for the direct debit details. How did you get introduced to the customer? How much are you charging for this application? And when is that payable? What are the solicitor details? Well, we know that they're on the panel because we searched it earlier. So just type the name, the firm, town name, or postcode and search. And you can just select them from the drop down. And declaration just gives you a summary of the submission, including fees. Click I confirm and then submit the application. And that is the AIP and full application completed back to back in just over 10 minutes. I've been talking over it, but you can probably do it quicker. But hopefully you can see how much time that has saved you. Whether it's that soft search conducted so early on that if it doesn't fit, we aren't wasting your time completing the rest of the AIP, or not needing to spend 20 minutes keying in all the application's credit commitments, or with the drag and drop and auto matching of the documentation. And finally, hoping to produce a full mortgage offer the same day as submission. When you've completed the submission, you'll be directed to the case application tracker screen. This has been updated in the last couple of weeks and is now a nice intuitive way of presenting and tracking the different stages of the case's life cycle. The case journey timeline goes across the middle, starting with the AIP issued, and goes all the way, even past the full offer stage, all the way through to completion activities. This will be improving as we go further in the coming months, so do watch out for our update marketing email notifications. The tabs just below show all the information, like the case summary, parties tab, which will show you all the applicants, packaging is the document requirements, and then all the underwriting questions will come up under the messages tab. Lastly, the documents tab will have all your compliance documents ready for you to view or download, including the mortgage illustration and agreement in principle. If you do get any questions from underwriting, you'll get an email every morning from MPowered to remind you that there's something outstanding on the case. All you need to do is log back into your portal, find the case. If we click on messages here, we can see some of the questions we had to answer on the property earlier, but this is where you will find any additional document request or explanation post initial underwrite. If you have multiple questions, you will need to answer all of them before the case goes back into the underwriting queue. Right. So through that application, I mentioned some of our criteria, and although we operate at a high street pricing level, some of our criteria is surprisingly flexible. So let me walk you through a few of the big ones. Top of our list is going to be for foreign nationals. So we'll lend up to 90% LTV for foreign nationals with a 2-year UK residential history. There is no minimum income requirement, and we don't have a minimum time remaining on the visa either. We accept a wide range of visas, including Tier 1, skilled worker, formerly known as the Tier 2, spousal dependent. This is even with the partner is also on another acceptable visa. And recently added is BNO and BNO dependent. On top of that, we can also accept gifted deposits from abroad up to £200,000, as long as it comes from the home country of either the donor or the applicant. All we need is the usual gifted letter, which is downloadable from our website, and a couple of supporting documents from the donor. Debt consolidation. We accept applications with debt consolidation up to 80% LTV, and there is no cap on the debt value. Debts being repaid pre-completion are excluded from affordability, which is another big plus. We'll just need to see some evidence of how those debts are being repaid. We will, however, be concerned regarding debt consolidation churn. So if the client has done debt consolidation on their previous remortgage, we may view this one as outside of policy. As we saw in the demo, the early soft search will pull through the applicant's credit commitments, which will be extremely useful in keying a DebtCon case. One, it doesn't take 20 minutes to key the commitments in. And two, there are no undisclosed commitments as we've got them from Experian. With regards to income and employment, we'll accept 100% of the salary and guaranteed allowances, and we'll consider applicants with less than 3 months with current employer. If the job is in the same line of work as their previous role, and there is no more than a 60-day gap between employment, then along with the final copy of their final pay slip from their previous employer, this should be acceptable. Monthly or weekly bonus, overtime or commission is weighted at 100% for affordability and capped at 100% of salary. Quarterly or annual bonus, overtime or commission is weighted at 50% for affordability. If using commission or overtime is calculated as the average of the last 3 months, We'll always want a P60 to match. If it doesn't match, we'll accept the lower of the two. Annual bonus is the average of the last 2 years or the latest years, whichever is lower. If the annual bonus was earned across more than one employer, for example, the annual bonus at the current employer and the last period's bonus was with a previous employer, then this can also be considered. Self-employed income is the average of the last 2 years or the latest years, whichever is the lower. For limited company directors, we only accept salary and dividends, no net profit or retained profit. We'll need the latest 2 years SA 302 tax calculations and overviews. And for limited company directors, we'll also need the latest year's finalised accounts. Actually, a new addition to income policy is for loans over £400,000. We will consider net profit after tax in addition to the applicant's director's salary. For this, we don't even need the 2 years SA 302 tax calculations and overviews. We would only require the latest year's finalised accounts. We also have a generous credit history as well. Things to note here are for missed payments, we want them all currently up to date on application, including on the credit report, but we will accept 1 missed payment in the last 6 months or 2 in the last 24. No defaults in the last 3 years, but we will ignore communication defaults up to £500 opening balance. Again, if they've got 1 or 2 missed payments and you're not sure if the credit fits with us, as I've already shown you, because we run that soft search so early on in the process, you can check the credit if the credit fits very quickly using the system. So along with these great bits of criteria that you've just seen, I think with the keen, consistent rates, fast application and decision making, and other AI tools which are available to you for free, we really are a good option in this part of the market. In fact, speaking of other AI tools, I do want to just finish off by showing you our criteria tool, which won the Money Mentor Award for Product Innovation back in December. So we've recently moved this tool to the homepage to be more accessible. So this tool is available to brokers 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So if you're working out of hours or at a weekend, you could still get the answers to criteria rather than waiting for the next working day. Just make sure you're logged in and you're on the intermediary page and you're ready to go. Now, we can ask it just keywords like Tier 2 visa, and it will try and understand the query and then look through our policy document to provide the relevant answer to the question. You should see that it not only answers the question, it gives you the criteria as well. It will always give you a link below the answer, which will direct you to the criteria that it's referencing on our criteria page of the website. And it doesn't just have to be keywords. You can ask it full sentences or even inquiries. For instance, let's ask it, like I've done here, my client is on a 0-hour contract and is receiving a gifted deposit from parents. Is this acceptable? And as you can see here, it's responded. It's given me an initial answer. It's also given me the additional criteria, and it's obviously given me the link for each of those. So hopefully you can see how useful this is. We've had great feedback from brokers using this, and I hope it can assist you with your inquiries going forward. So no more digging through PDFs, no more waiting on hold. Use our Criteria Genius as much as you need. Other support available is the new MPowered Max support team, which includes the broker support team, who are very good for queries and system support. They can actually look through your portal remotely if you need any guidance on the application. And the new telephone BDM team, who I'm sure will be calling you at some stage, who again are available for support with inquiries and other queries too. If you like the tools you see here today and you want to know what's on the horizon, you can join our beta testing program. You can give direct feedback on all the new tools that will help us deliver the mortgages of the future. Just sign up under the More tab and then Help Center, and then click on MPowered Beta. So just to conclude, why does all this matter? Because ultimately, we're trying to help you get from client meeting to mortgage offer as quickly and simply as possible. Speed of application, the AIP and full application completed back-to-back in 10 minutes. System intelligence, so fewer details to key. And document packaging, which is dynamic and bespoke for every case. And if you've got everything in place, we aim to issue an offer that same day. For you, this means less chasing, fewer "can you update me" calls, and more time spent advising or whatever you want. Anyway, thank you very much for your time today. It's been great to catch up with you all, and I hope we can speak again soon, whether it's placing your first case, solving a tricky one, or just keeping you up to date with what's new at MPowered. Thank you very much. I hope you have a good rest of the day.